Shop Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real. Good morning to you lovely people. I'm trying to get the mood right so that we can actually go ahead and shop talk. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shop talk. Today's topic, I have to put it, gotta put it on you real quick. Today's topic is a forbidden fellowship. Forbidden fellowship. Now, Mel, why did you choose forbidden fellowship? What do you mean by forbidden fellowship? What I mean by forbidden fellowship is, yes, we talking about the church. The doors of the church is open and Shop Talk is coming in, okay? Today's guest is an amazing friend of mine. He is totally awesome. I called him last minute and we know that we don't know, most of us know, he's a night shifter too, all the way from Indianapolis, Indiana. We have on the show Dr. Jonathan Mason, the pastor of Great Works Worship Center. So let's give him a round of applause. All right. How are we doing, Dr. Jonathan Mason? I want to get it right.
We are, you should get it right. Fix it. Get it right. We are absolutely wonderful. And so I'm so excited to be with Shop Talk.
Hey!
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much. And for those that are listening, you are in for a treat. You are in for a treat. So stay tuned.
All right, definitely stay tuned. Definitely do that. I was talking to a few comrades of mine, and even like on previous shows, I always was talking about how I felt just being there with the church folk. We're gonna say the church folk. I'm using air quotes for the listening audience. And how they're so judgmental. And I've always said that they judge you, and people do, period. People judge you through their own lens, based off of what they did, what they encountered at that age. And they force their views on you. Or they force themselves on you. That's them, and that's what they did, not what somebody else is doing. And they might not even be thinking about that right now. And then I also spoke about, and even though like I have family members that are Jehovah's Witness, I had an issue with if you were pregnant, you got disfellowship. To me, that's the time that you need to come in and love on that person so that they don't feel like they're out there on their own. And I know that you have, let me say this, ladies. He's a single pastor, so I got some questions. You're like, I got some questions that I need to ask, and I want the real deal, and I know that you for real. So that's why I was like, I gotta get Pastor Mason on my show because you keep it 100. You know, you have that, I'll teach you this, but you're doing something else. Not you per se, but just overall. How do you feel about, you know, forbidden fellowship, not sex in the church, sex and the church?
Sex in the church it's normal, especially in this day and age. You know, we were raised under a backdrop of holiness and holiness of hell, and when we grew up, it was under the banner that we didn't really want to do church because church wasn't fun, because everything you did you were going to hell for. So in regards to sex in the church, which is an incredible topic, I would just like to really start out by saying that just me being me. Many of us, we have crowned Michael Jackson as the king of pop. All right. And oftentimes he is referred to as the man in the mirror. He is referred to as remember the times. But those of us who are in the church, we have a different kind of fight. Those of us that wrestle with our flesh and our sexuality, the real soundtrack that really should be played is "Don't Stop Until You Get Enough." And really that's what's happening in the church, behind the scenes at large. And so when I'm thinking about that, which all ties into sexual addictions, it ties into so many other things. I don't necessarily know exactly where you would like me to go in its entirety far as this topic. So I think it's best if you ask the questions, because I'm a preacher. So if you give a preacher a microphone, a preacher is going to preach. You know, me and a microphone is like me and Miss Jones. We got a thing going on. So you tell me what it is that
I want you to let loose, and then I'll come in and I'll interject with other questions. I want you to let loose. Let's start with this.
Okay.
Pregnant girls in the church.
Okay.
And being judged or shunned because they are pregnant and they disappear for how long? You know, like back in the day, they used to have where if there was like a teenage pregnancy, they would send them away. They going down south to be with their aunt or something. You'd be like, well, what happened to Mary? You know what I mean? They were like, oh, she went down south and then she come back and then she got a little sister. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing that I see with the church. But the difference here is back then somebody sent them in the church. Now you have the youth that are in the church and they're leaving themselves because they don't feel welcome. Speak to that for me.
Which is great. At Greater Works Worship Center, all is welcome. In regards to teenage pregnancy or a woman who gets pregnant now,
out of wedlock. Let's go out of wedlock.
Well, a woman who gets pregnant out of wedlock. Now, I would like to say this before I address that particular question. I am a man of morals. I'm a man of values, and there's certain respect levels that an individual should have. And if an individual gets pregnant, like I was talking on my Facebook Live last night, it is not our job to beat that individual up, but really to cover that individual until they recover. They already know why they're pregnant. They know how they got into it. Be it a rebellious child or not listening or not taking the necessary advice that they should embrace. But at this point,
let me talk to the man.
Okay.
Let me talk to the man, Jonathan.
Okay.
Let's go.
If we're dealing with the man, Jonathan, I would say the truth of the matter is in church. I would say 90% of the church, everybody doing something. And, the thing is, your sin just didn't come out on you. The truth of the matter is, you got pumps in the air. People are checking in the club. I mean, checking in the hotels, shutting them down. And the truth be told, the only reason why it didn't come out on you is because you got the abortion. You took the overnight pill. And so this individual thought that they would safeguard themselves and say, I don't believe in this and I don't believe in that. What do we do in a situation, a scenario like this? I would hope that we would cover them. I hope that we would give them the necessary tools to make them feel just kind of coach them through what it is that they're going through. That's what I would do as a man. But the truth of the matter is all of us have issues. All of us have struggles. All of us are dealing with something. We're all dealing with something. And I think that we need to handle those situations with delicate and care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to talk to the man, single man.
Okay.
Okay. You're a pastor, and I know let me issue this disclaimer. He's not speaking for everyone. I'm just talking to this my boy. Okay, I'm talking to my homie right now.
Yeah.
And when you are chosen and being a pastor and being single, and you guys do get judged. Oh my gosh, y'all get judged a lot, and you're nice looking. You're nice looking. So there are several single, nice looking pastors, and people tend to beat up on y'all. Like if they see y'all out with somebody, they swear you're sleeping with everybody, regardless. And it's like, wait a second. We just went out. What you mean we sleeping together? Oh, I know him. Do you really know him?
Do you?
You know what I mean? And it's like, do you guys have a certain type? Do you have, and one of my good friends who is single, a lot of people, they slander his name for him. And the men, I got a lot, you know how I roll. I have a lot of male friends that I'm cooler with dudes than I am females. That's the truth. And they keep it 100 with me. Mm-hmm. A guy ended up telling me about a single pastor. And then they're like, oh, he get more blah, blah, blah than the law allows. But I know this person. And I'm saying to myself, man, you got it mixed up. And me being the person that I am, I will not allow someone to slander somebody else. So I have to check them. They probably don't like that part of it. But the same way, I will not allow somebody else to talk bad about you or give false information when I know that it's the truth. I got to stop it. And this guy ended up saying, he was like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be a pastor and he out here out with this girl and out with that girl. He's single. So,
he's single. And he's dating.
Right. So do you find yourself in that place where people are judging you for being single, but a man, I guess they forget you guys are men, a man who is not a pastor can go date who he want and all is well.
Yeah. Dating in the church is incredibly difficult as a pastor, because if you are, so to speak, looking for that one, you may go through several. And so people will call you, I don't know if I could say this, they'll call you a hoe. Oh, yeah. They'll call you a womanizer. They'll call you everything under the sun except a man of God. And it's really hard dating in the church. And to be truthfully honest about it, I've been pastoring now 10 years. And and in the 10 years, I probably dated maybe twice. And it was rough. And because I chose that and opted that this situation wasn't going to work, people see you out with somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, and they think that you're going through the church. So dating as a pastor, I'm trying to tell you, it's really hard, as well as, we have the same issues as you was talking about a man. We have the same issues as any other man. I'm saved. I'm a pastor, but I get horny too.
Okay. Right?
And so I think that this is the misconception of the pastor and the man of God. That I think that it is misconstrued, and I think really the church really need to be indicted in regards to certain issues because we haven't properly trained or properly prepared, so to speak, the body of Christ with daring topics such as sex. I think that when I was growing up, I had a problem because, we was under the ruleship that ladies keep your dress up and keep your panties up and your dress down. But I had an issue with that. I had an issue because I couldn't understand why the children's church and the children's choir was the biggest choir or church in the particular church. And it was steady growing, but nobody was married. And I told my dad, I said somebody was getting up that dress. And my father, he's went on to be with God.
Apostle Mason, shout out to him.
Apostle, my father, and I'm telling you, I used to have these conversations. I said, well, Dad, you telling the women keep their panties up and their dress down. I said, Dad, it's really easier to get to it with the dress because all you got to do is slide some things over. Are you hearing me? Dad would say, boy, you are crazy. I told Dad growing up, I said, Dad, I got a Solomon anointing. I've got a Solomon anointing, So anyway, you as a single pastor, you get indicted. And then if you can't necessarily find a certain woman, then they put these stigmas on you that you're gay.
Okay.
And so that's another facet of being a single pastor. That now in this day and age, you're saying you have to get up and say, I didn't come for anyone here and men as well. I'm not ready for a wife right now. And neither do I want any of y'all dudes, and it's sad. It's sad that the day and age that we live in, that we have to operate under that. So, dating as a single pastor, collecting data is rough. Because you have to understand and so to speak, get to the point is that whoever you select as that woman, she have to be able to have the connectivity with your congregation. Yeah, so that's
now you said the connectivity with the congregation. Listen, I have to say, transparency, that's who I am. The connectivity with the congregation. So I'm a pin that. Both pin.
Okay.
I'm a pin. I'm a pin that the connectivity. Nah, let's just address it. Let's just go with it.
Okay, just
go with it. The connectivity with the congregation is twofold. That's why I was like, okay. Is that why a lot of pastors, as far as for your last comment, is that why a lot of pastors go outside the church because they don't want to be indicted by the church and find someone and they be like, who is that person? And all these women in the church is coming at you, and then here comes this other person. They like, we don't even know that individual.
It's easier to, the rule of thumb is you never marry from the congregation. You always marry out. Because when you marry from the congregation, then what you're going to have is a bust up church. Because you got individuals that say, you know what, he didn't marry me and neither did he marry you, so I'm okay. I'm glad that he got somebody else, so I don't mind staying.
Staying in the church, being a member.
Exactly. I don't mind being a member because, he didn't get my sister. He didn't get my friend. He went and got somebody outside of the church. So it's a little bit easier for them to kind of stay there, even though eventually they will weed themselves out if they came for the wrong motive. And 9 times out of 10, well, I can't say that live.
We get comfortable on Shop Talk.
They're not ready for that. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Any other questions?
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna go with the part 2 because I was like, pin that. Go with the part 2. You said mesh with the congregation. Now, so you look for a wife that'll actually get along with the congregation.
Is that your question?
Not
necessarily. You're saying you would hope that would be one of your hopes that your wife in the congregation would have that connectivity. You know, that, yeah.
Okay, I dated a pastor.
Okay.
Actually, everybody in church seemed like I dated everybody in the church. Not everybody in the church, but just like they're brought up in the church. Anyway, dating a pastor, he says something that I give him much respect to, because a lot of women, even though not belonging to that particular church and being outside, that is actually, like you said, you hope they will get along with the congregation. Now, the people that know me, either one or two things can happen. Either your congregation will grow or they gonna go.
9 times out of 10, they gonna go.
Now they gonna go with me. They're gonna be like, whoa, that's just, wait a minute.
They gonna go.
So, yeah. and here's why I say that kind of, that has you a little, it's like, okay, I'm me, and if you want to marry me, and then me being a first lady, I'm going to be honest with you. There is some reservations there because of being a first lady, because in my mind, you know, growing up in the church, the first lady was, you know, she was sitting there, she'd be like, yes, now, you know, just nice, pleasant, hey, welcome everybody. Now, I am welcoming. I am. But sometimes I see some people getting a little fly. You know me. So I'm like, I don't know about the big hat. I might throw on the big hat wherever we go. And however, you can't come at me crazy. Not that I'll be fighting after church and the pastor sitting there preaching. I'm not that type of person. But there's a stigma on the first lady. And then she puts up with, I seen some stuff, you know, growing up where it's like, okay, she deals with what she deals with, and she's behind.
I can understand why a woman would want to be a first lady, because you are in a position that every woman wants to be in. Well, I would say at least 80% of the church wants to be in that role. And here it is. They're waiting for you to slip. They're watching, and they're sizing you up, and they're seeing where you fail. And so they're saying, if I ever get the opportunity, I'm going to hone in like a vulture on a dead carcass. And so it's hard. A lot of first ladies are really stressed out. A whole lot of first ladies really don't understand those who have never really come up in it or been behind the scenes of it. They don't understand. 9 times out of 10, when that man come home, he don't want to talk, because he talked for a living. You know, and here you are, you know, he's seeing all of these beautiful women looking good, and he got to come home, and you want to put on a bonnet. You want to put on those old panties. You want to put on that muumuu dress, let everything hang out. And, you know, he's like, wait, what's going on? Now, I'm not saying you can't be comfortable in your home, but the bottom line is you got some competition. And I believe what happens is it's really an ingredient headed for divorce or disaster. If you don't know who you are, and that's one of the hardest things, and that's why a lot of single pastors stay single for a long time, because they understand if this marriage doesn't work, you know, it's going to affect the church. If we get a divorce, she brought people in, she's going to take people out. And I'm telling you this, and I hope those of you all that are listening will write this down. There is no battle like a divorce, because watch this, you fight as strangers when you lived as lovers. There is no battle. And then so what people see, that the congregation see that, and now they start looking at you as the bad individual. But anyway, yes. So first,
yeah, they do. They look at the man as the worst in all of them. I want to let the listening audience know, Pastor Mason was married and divorced. So let's put that out there so you know what he's talking about. And most have been married and divorced and then single. I don't know too many that.
This is why I take my time.
Right? You got to make sure it's all good. Once you've been divorced,
marriage is no joke. It's no joke. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it's no joke. It is no joke. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. That is okay. Look, you see, I'm watching it like, okay, wait a second. So with that, if the spouse has her own, let me ask you this, because I don't want to make an assumption on you. When are you attracted? So you're a leader. Are you attracted to a leader?
No, not necessarily. No.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel as though if you see a leader, do you see competition?
No question about it. No question about it. Absolutely. There's competition. And that's where tension comes from. You got two couples that are trying to outdo each other. And one individual is jealous of the other. And so which creates a wedge in that home.
And that seems so odd to me, because if you guys are together, you would think, okay, let me lift you up, and I'll, the other, vice versa. Let me lift you up, I'll lift you up, vice versa. The look, I sound like I just sit rewind like I'm scratching a sampling. But I want to go back to where I said where I was dating a pastor. He said something, and I give him the utmost respect. He told me, he said, male, because I said what my reservations were. Mm-hmm. And I'm me, and I believe wholeheartedly in what I believe in. I'm 100% supportive toward everybody and what they're trying to do, and I will help you achieve your goals. Mm-hmm. But you can't strip me from who I am and what I'm doing. Now, when I see the first lady, I looked and I see that she's catering the whole nine. But if I'm doing my thing and I'm on the road, just like you said, you got all them other women there, that competition, and I'm out working, kind of like Megan Good and her husband, who's a pastor. Mm-hmm. You doing your thing, and then you have, and let me say this, I can't, the pastor is very supportive of what I was doing, the whole nine. It's like, boom. But I feel as though I can't fill those shoes, or from what I saw, from what society tells me the traditional first lady is. And he said, I'm marrying you.
Okay.
Not a first lady. And then he said, and the church, he said, I work at the church, and he said, you're not marrying the church. So there's something there. So I give him mad respect. When he said that, and don't expect me to be who I'm not.
Understood.
You know what I mean? And I thought that was kind of cool, where you look at it and say, okay, well, I know where I am. It kind of like when I said, either your church gonna grow or they gonna go. You know, and you hate to be that way, but it's like, okay, well, when you have somebody, even if you marry outside the church and you bring them into the church, you still got that battle, and you have people who have been at the church for years, and then this first lady come in and want to change some stuff, front and center. That play, look, we had the pandemic, so I couldn't even do the play. That's a play, front and center. Okay, and that's center, SINNER, front and center. It's coming. Hey, listen, call the book too, How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman, by your girl, yours truly. And it is about that. The title, you're like, okay, wait a minute, but it is about within the church and how you become, and how you different scenarios on how you become the other woman. And you hit the nail on the head when you said you have that competition constantly, and that weighs on the wife. And you also said that, they talk all day. They talk, you guys talk all day, and then you don't want to hear the extras. Now, here's where the problem is. So if she has an issue, and I love your transparency, keep it 100. If she has an issue, she has to put her issue on the back burner, because you may have had a hard day. But what about her hard day? When is it reciprocated? So if I'm married to you and I talk all day and you talk all day, we don't want to talk. It's quiet.
Baby, it's time for body language. How about that? Let's have some body language and let our bodies do the talking. And then after that, most men normally open up after that anyway. So after having that music connectivity,
do you really open up, or do you just sit there and act like you're listening? Like, okay,
well, I'll say this: if a woman really want to get anything out of a man, she can get it through his release. If a woman want to get anything out of a man, 9 times out of 10, well, I would say 7 times out of 10, she can get it through his release. Let me go back to when a pastor gets married, how they either come or they'll go. Now, see, me as a single pastor, I think that when I get married, what's going to happen is a lot of singles will leave. Probably half of the singles will leave, but then there's another flux of families that will come in. Because now you can kind of relate to married couples. And on top of that, I can't marry anybody's broke, especially when you have a small ministry. When you have a small and growing ministry, and then once you connect with somebody and know that there's going to be a loss in the tithe, there's going to be a loss in the offering, there's going to be a loss in the attendance, you got to be able to pull your weight. All right. And not think that you got diamonds dripping. All right. You have to pull your weight, because after all that is said and done, it's over. Are you hearing me? So that's basically where it's at for me. I got so much stuff on this sex stuff.
Go with it.
We done started talking about marriage and not even dealing with a lot of this sex in the church.
We going there. Go ahead.
Because it's 100% real. And I think what takes place is you have a lot of seniors who are upset with the youth, and they have to think about who they were when they were that age. Bottom line is here you got women who are staunch. They're seasoned in Christendom, and they want to downplay an individual because they now have amnesia and forgot who they once were when they were 15, when they were 17, when they were 21. They got to think about the promiscuity and the experimentations that they were doing. As a matter of fact, they got pregnant when they were 16. But then they want to kill you because nobody want them. Nobody want their rusty knees. And I want to tell people here, you got so many people now in church. They are so upset about how these women look. The truth of the matter is, if you had a body like that, you would probably be rocking some of the things they rock as well. And God is not confused about Revlon or the Mac counter. He just want to know, do you love me with all your heart, with all of your mind, and all of your soul? But dealing with sex in the church is real. People dealing with sexual addictions. They're dealing with pornography in the church. Preachers are dealing with it in the church. Now, because you were dealing with a marriage, I somehow have to deal with that. I was talking to a preacher the other night, and he told me, he said, Doc Mason, I am happily married. He told me, he said, I love God. He said, I have a wife who don't like to be intimate. She don't like to have sex as much as I like to have sex. He said, Doc, because I'm a man of God and I don't want to cheat, or I don't want there to be a scandal. He said, I have now contracted an addiction to porn. So he said, I watch porn, but I stay at home. He said, I haven't stepped outside of the relationship. He said, but where else can I go? Because if I go to church, the church is going to riddle shame. The church is going to indict me because I should be at a place where I'm stronger. I should have more discipline. So he's like, man, I'm in a crisis right now. What then do I do? And the truth of the matter is, the bottom line is, it's bad when you know you're in a crisis. You got people in the church who sex is their badge of honor, and they think just because they can put it down, just because they're intimate with the pastor, and just because they had an intimate moment with the pastor, that afford them the right to marriage. And what I learned is that you have a whole lot of people, as far as women in the church. I'm a man, so men can't do anything for me, and so I'm a heterosexual man. You got a lot of women that don't mind can I say this, screwing the pastor or having a sexual relationship with the pastor, as long as they're the only one. He's still a man of God. He still can preach. They'll still come to the church. But if they find out there's another individual involved, that man is the scum of the earth. He's not called by God. He need to take off his collar, and the list goes on and on and on. So what if I'm dealing with the church? I would tell the church, sex, so to speak, has become their priority. Not bills, not our job, not our kids, but you have so many people, and they're doing everything they can to keep it together while spreading them apart. Okay. So here it is. They think it's a conquest without any consequence. So it doesn't bother them how many men or women they see come through the house. Watch this, because of what's in their hand begin to take over their head. Watch this. The truth of the matter, it happens in the church everywhere. You know they got a disease, but you're willing to take a chance. When I was a new pastor in the city of Indianapolis, Indiana, my church was packed out. I was deemed the fastest growing church in Indianapolis. In 7 weeks, I had over 250 members. In 7 weeks, and I would say 99.9% of those individuals were single women hoping to be the first lady. And so watch this. My thing is, and I thank God I got the victory. I got to say I got the victory. Now, I'm not going to tell you in me, a pastor in 10 years as a single pastor, that I've never failed. I've fallen, but I got back up. I'm like that lady in that old commercial. I've fallen, but I got back up. So, the type of experiences and the things that we have to go through and the things we have to turn down is like people don't understand. The only reason why you got a lot of people who are so spiritual, they are spooky. You got a lot of individuals who are, I would say, lying, so to speak, to themselves. The only reason why they're not doing what these young people are doing is because they don't have the type of options that they have. Because the truth of the matter is, if people have the same type of options that others had, maybe they would do the same thing. All right, so I can keep going on and on when it comes to sex and sexuality and dealing with how sex is. Some people in the church, they want to have sex because they're angry. Some people want to have sex because of what happened to them in their childhood. So, you got to understand that the church is made up of broken people. And you got people who judge the church. Watch it. You have all of these women. I'm going to go back to my point. You got all of these women that's coming for one man. And shop talk. If that one man happened to screw about 20 women in the church, then what? You laid it out in front of him. You laid it out. You caused unnecessary temptation. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew what you were wearing. You knew what type of perfume you were putting on. You knew it. And the moment a pastor fall, you got the church, my God, the church, the same pastor that buried their mother, the same pastor that baptized their children, the same pastor that married their sons and daughters, the same pastor that paid their rent. They will retreat on that pastor if that pastor falls. But he counseled you through your mess. He was there through your mess, but I'm dealing with, certain things as a pastor, since you're dealing with sexuality in the church, and some things should be forbidden. Some things should be off limits. And I'm a pastor. I'm not the pastor that will preach to you and screw you.
Okay.
Period. That is not who I am. I might as well just take my name off the marquee, and I might as well be. I'm not going to say my street name because everybody don't need to know that. But Mel, Mel, and you know how I rolled. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
I wasn't passing nothing up. If it was nailed down, I was trying to figure out how I can get it up to nail it down again. So I'm just keeping it 100, and I'm thankful that God saved me. Amen. I am a recovering sex addict.
And how does that work?
Can I say that as a pastor?
Hey, you a man first. People need to know you are a man first, and that's why I wanted you on the show, because you are so transparent, and people need to hear the real, not up there and you're preaching something to me, but you're doing something else. And just like you said, you're not the pastor that will preach to you and do you.
And you got that right.
So and we talked about how, a lot of the single women will come to the church. You said the fastest growing church. Nice looking pastor. Here we go. He's single. Let's go. There are women out there who look for that, because you did say they want that spot as the first lady. That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure, because somebody's always watching you.
There were some bad ones that walked through, and I had to hold the horns of the altar to say, Lord, if you don't hold me, I'm gonna give myself away. I promise you, Lord, if you don't keep me through this. And so, the church that God has given me, I keep it real with my people, and that's why they love me. You are talking to an individual who has been on the platform, Bishop T.D. Jakes. I can start calling names. I mean, God has afforded me the opportunity to be on major platforms with major world-renowned men of God, and all because of my realness. And so there's no way that I'm going to now come to the church and forget my hood instinct. I'm not going to forget, that drive and that tenacity that I had when I was in the street. If I can go all out for Satan, surely I can make it happen for Christ. And so I'm here to say, coming up, because I know our time is coming up. I'll be coming up on 10. Matter of fact, I'm in 10 years pastorate. I've been preaching 20 years. I hold 2 doctorate degrees. I thank God for what God has done for my ministry. Ministry is growing. Life is prospering. God has been kind to me. And I got a book that's getting ready to be released entitled The Diary of a Confused Christian. And it's going to talk about my life and my transition, how I was once an atheist. Although I was born and raised in the church, I didn't agree with its methods. And because how I was treated, and the list goes on and on and on, you got to get the book. I said I didn't want the same God that you say you serve. Because if the God you say you serve is this and that, surely you're not a great representation. And so I went for a long time searching other religions and trying to find out who I was and where I fit. And this diary is going to talk about how I've come to be. That's why I can say, because I'm a gospel preacher, I am a gospel preacher preaching the good news of Christ. And I am here to say that Jesus is real. And I know he's real in my life, period, point blank. So,
all right, we might have some questions. Let's see. Nick, you got a question? You got to unmute you.
I said, surprisingly, no, I don't have any questions.
No.
Are you serious?
I don't have any. I agree with everything you said.
Wow.
Everything, but I don't. Yes, surprisingly, I don't have any questions.
And Nick, the voice of the community. Nick is the voice of the community. We got Roogle the Movie guy on my other co-host. Here you go. We've been rocking since way back. Unmute you. Roogle.
Yeah.
I know that you came in, you came in late, because I had to get him on to get the meat of it out.
I just wasn't sure because I had the old one up, and then I don't know.
Okay.
Then I said, let's go back in.
That works. We have, for you guys that's joining us now, I had you come on now. We have Dr. Jonathan Mason. He's the pastor of Great Works Worship Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. And what today's topic you guys already know, which is the forbidden fellowship and sex and church. not sex in the church. We don't want to do that, but that happens with the young adults. Like you said, when you said the young adult choir, it's like it just keeps growing and growing. It's like, wait a second. It happens, and people act like it doesn't happen. They act like, okay, they don't have any souvenirs. Let's put it that way. They're doing their dirt, but they don't have any souvenirs to say, hey, I have been here. Unless somebody come up, knocked up, pregnant. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. Who is the father? And then it seems like the father of the child, the alleged father, let's put it that way, is denying it. So that is a split as well. But why are we so taboo about sex in the church? And we talked about that. Let me ask you that question, Jonathan. Why is it so taboo? And then, Roogle, you have a question for Pastor Mason. Just hop on in.
It's taboo because of the imagery of sex. The imagery of sex is nasty. And so it's best not to even talk about it, although everyone love it if they have ever experienced it the right way. I'm emphasizing the right way.
I was under the impression that it's a gift.
No question about it. No question about it. It is definitely a gift that, and the end result should be the reward. And to be truthfully honest about it, sex is a glimpse out of the book of Jonathan Mason. Sex is a glimpse of what heaven is going to be like. God gives us a 4-second glimpse, a 4-second feeling of what it is that we're going to feel when we actually get to a place called heaven. I believe he gives us that glimpse as a reward. So yes, it is a gift. As a matter of fact, it's what God desires from us through worship. It's intimacy, and as a matter of fact, it comes through God. It's a preparation because we're His bride. We're going to be with the groom. So that's what it's all about. Yes. I don't know how much time I have because I could really go and talk about it. But go ahead. I want to hear the question that this kind sir had.
You're still on mute. Let's see if we
Sorry, I put it back on mute. And I apologize because I'm like halfway in, but there was some really powerful things I think that you mentioned, especially when we think about like how people view sex. And it's so funny. There was a person I knew. They were trying to have a baby or whatever, and so it's funny when you're talking about procreation, how like people are like, yeah, we're working on it and all that other stuff, like you can give them tips or something like, well, if you do it this way, then maybe you get a boy versus a girl, but you're right. Like, it seems like it's only not taboo if you're talking about procreation, but I guess the question is that how do you get people to see it for an act of
recreation,
enjoyment? Yeah, recreational intimacy, if you will. You know what I mean? And
you always got to dress something up, Roogle.
And it was like, because I had a pastor, and I don't know why he had mentioned this at church, and he just kind of like was like, hey, me and my wife went at it, right? And it was he didn't say it in those words, but he said it, right? And it was, and it kind of threw me off a little bit, but then he was just like, he said, like, I guess the Bible talks about, I don't know exactly where it is. You probably know that and I'm paraphrasing because I don't know exactly what it says, but something like what happens between a man and his wife cannot be defiled or something of that nature.
Yes, the marriage bedroom cannot be defiled. Yes.
I don't know if you talked on that. I don't know if you spoke on that, but could you elaborate for our listeners about that?
Sure. I think wholeheartedly that although I don't know how we got to marriage, but I think that when it comes to the marriage bedroom being undefiled, it's whatever you agree upon. whatever the agreement is and whatever that looks like is solely up to the parties involved. And I think that there was one pastor. As a matter of fact, he was in the city of Youngstown, Ohio. And I won't call him by name, but everyone knows him. And he was telling the husbands and the wives what they should and should not do in the bedroom. And I think this is the reason why the divorce rate, it goes up, because whatever you don't do and the individual has a desire for, they're going to go searching for it. And so when I tell my people, I don't touch that. Whatever it is that you decide to do as a married couple, have your way. If you want to swing from fans like Jane from Tarzan, have your way. Whatever it is, whatever that looks like. If you want to ride rodeos and play dress up and hey, you want to put some anyway, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever that looks like, have your way. All right. So I'm trying to keep it a surface, so to speak. So that's what it looks like. The marriage bedroom being undefiled, whatever it is, choose, and whatever it is that you agree upon.
Now that was a good question, Roogle. And I'm going to go back to the single pastor and or a pastor who, like you said, if this is offered, you have all these single women in the church, and that pastor, he like head, okay, and his wife don't, his wife is like, I ain't doing that. That's crazy. I'm not doing that. And he's married. And there you go. I was like, did you freeze? Did you freeze on me? I ain't know if you did. I was like, wait a minute, Pastor Mason, did you freeze on me?
No, I didn't freeze on you.
Okay, so he like head, but his wife is not interested in that. So with that being said, so the wife is not bobbing for apples, but there's some woman in the church that like bobbing for apples, and he'd have been there before. And so I'm with Roogle on that part of it. It's like, okay, well, if this is something that I want, should that be addressed or should that be addressed prior to the marriage?
No question about it. No, you should actually, the Bible is replete with understanding of knowing those who labor among you. And we know it's dealing with sound and doctrine, and the list goes on. But it's also good to know who you're connecting with. And to be truthfully honest about it, this is why divorces or separation happens before the marriage ever come about. Because there's too many non-negotiables. I don't do this and I don't do that, and I will not do this and I will not do that. And I think that a lot of those conversations should be had prior to you walking down the aisle. But the problem is in the church, because the church doesn't talk about it. You got to hear this, because the church doesn't know how to talk about it. How do I respond when I have been abstinent? I have kept myself without fornication, so I don't even know the benefit of what I'm marrying. And that goes for the man or the woman. I don't know the benefit, and I believe that this is where dissatisfaction comes in, and the list goes on. Okay,
Roogle, you remember it was a show some years ago, and I don't know, Nick, I think you were around, where the lady, she kept herself, she kept herself for, how many years was it? Like abstinence? 5 years abstinence.
Yeah.
She married, the church said, okay, y'all got to be married. It's like, okay, you want to have sex, hurry up and marry this person so that you can have sex. And then they got married. She kept herself for 5 years. So she rededicated herself, okay? Re-virginized herself, if that's possible.
It's not.
I try. But here's the deal, though. Yeah, here's the deal. When they got married, he was okay with her keeping herself and practicing abstinence because that's what y'all preach, okay? He ain't even work. Not physically work. His joint didn't work. So she done kept herself for 5 years. And when it was time to go down, Somebody like he was still sleeping. His stuff didn't work. He had a problem and the little blue pill wasn't working. So she felt like she went through and was like, I need an annulment. And she felt betrayed because it didn't work. So there was no plan. It was no other type of sex. It was nothing like no Festina. None of that.
Lord.
Look at her. It was, you know what I mean? So she didn't know.
I'm about to start fanning myself over here. Jesus.
In cases as such, was she wrong though? I think he lied. I think that's a lie. He lied to her. Look at Nick like.
He lied to her definitely because that's something that they should have talked about beforehand. So she could have known not to wait because that was a waste of time.
Listen, 5 years she did for her. And then she went to the church. And you know, when you have those, she said it was a smaller congregation. It was like, okay, you guys are dating. And you know, they go ahead and they want you to go ahead and get married so y'all can consummate. And that's when people will be sitting there and they're like, oh, okay, why I got to get married just to have sex with this individual? I don't even like this person. And then you just get married because you want to have sex with this person. But in her case, I kind of felt, that was nice that she did that. But then the wedding night, you waited all this time, not 5 years with him because they were dating. Roogle, you remember how long they were dating? You're on mute. Let's see if you unmute yours, Roogle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought they were. Was it like 3 years?
It was something like that. I didn't want to get.
It was something. It was like half of the time that she was celibate, because I what you didn't mention was that she had a pretty active sexual lifestyle prior to taking
the celibacy. Yeah,
so in 3 years.
Yeah, she was very active.
Couldn't tell her.
I guess
I'm confused.
We discussed it in detail that day. And it was just like, I guess they were really like hands-offy, maybe during the time or whatever. But
I understand the hands-off, but that your mouth work, you could talk. Say something.
Maybe he was, maybe he was waiting on some kind of thing to come through. So maybe he thought he would be able to rise to the occasion. I don't know. But, or maybe he was just so in love with who she was that, he didn't really feel the need to express himself sexually, I guess. I don't know.
Oh,
whatever the situation was.
So, speak to that, Pastor Mason. She was very, and I did, you're right, that was valid. That was important information too. She was very active before she decided to go to become celibate, and then met him, and boom, she was ready, and he was not.
Okay,
that's traumatizing.
Now, do you want the?
I want the man. I want Jonathan. Come on, Jonathan.
Because I'm a gospel preacher, I got to give it.
You can give it all to me. You can give it all to me. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. My first question would be, did they take vows?
They did. They got married.
Okay, married. So you say for better, for worse.
Listen, better is before worse. Hold on a minute. Look, hold on a minute. See, that's probably why if I have counseling before I get married again, I'd probably be like,
I recommend counseling for anyone who want to connect. I recommend 100%
and that's good because you'll know if you're gonna be with that person or not. But yes, they got married. I feel as though he lied, but that's just my thoughts. You tell me yours, Doc.
You know what? I'd rather not touch that right now. Can I opt out? Can I plead the fifth on that one? I know how I feel, but I got listeners, and so
we'll talk about this. We'll sidebar. We'll talk about this off air.
Yes, we'll talk about it because when it comes to that, because I want to make sure those who are listening, and I'm getting all kind of texts and inboxes from individuals who are listening. single, I don't want to lead them astray, even in my transparency or being real. You know, so you know, I still have a congregation that I have to preach to. But other than that,
you have to be responsible and held accountable. I get it.
Watch this. Watch this. Now, we talk about the man, and I really don't want to flip it. Go
ahead.
But in the same scenario, I dealt with an individual who that woman had. She was the woman with the issue of blood.
Okay.
And so there was no way, there was no entry without hello.
Well, I heard that dudes now be putting the towel down.
They do. They do. But so I mean, it's on the same borderline. I think that he should have been honest. I think he should have been honest and straightforward and say, "Hey, I love you. I am into you, but I can't rise to the occasion." You know, and because of it, I feel inadequate, and I feel that because we're in this place. You know, I just got to be real with you. And so with something like that, I think that there's nothing wrong with the divorce, but I don't know.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. And like you were saying, and I hated to cut you off, the vow says for better, for worse. Now, Nick, go with it, Nick. I know you got something to say. I'm gonna be quiet.
Yes, it says for better, for worse, but that's if it gets worse during the marriage. You need to be honest before you get to that part. So if he couldn't rise to the occasion, he should have told her that and gave her that choice as to whether she wanted to continue to be abstinent and marry him or not. He took away her choice, and that was wrong. I wholeheartedly agree, for better or for worse. You're right. But that's if it happens during the marriage.
3 years, though, man. 3 years. They dated for 3 years, and she ain't rubbed nothing on him. You know, I mean, I'm trying to keep it.
That's what Roogle pretty much was saying, like totally hands off.
I mean, hello. Yeah. I mean, they didn't have no kind of revival, no laying on the hands, no anointed oil. I mean,
exactly.
they didn't have a prayer meeting.
Most men go rise to the occasion, whether you doing something or not. If you looking real sexy and your man is into you, you gonna look and you gonna see he right. She didn't notice none of that in them 3 years. Baby, I don't do that for you. Okay, I know we ain't doing nothing, but I'm not making you stand up at attention. Something wrong.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. She should have been noticing that. Something is definitely wrong.
Look, just her just standing there should have said,
Thank you. Because if a man really loves you like that, and you, like you said, perfume, sexy dress or something, he gonna rise. Period. He gonna rise.
A lot of black men start to suffer ED between the ages of 40 and 45.
Listen, don't get ran through by the church and then want to come to me and marry.
Which is the sole purpose for the cougars. That's why you had a cougars who then says, I don't want anything old, I want something young.
Right. For the listening audience who don't know what ED is, that is erectile dysfunction. Yeah. I got to. Hey, edutainment. I got to let the people know. So you said in your 40s. Yeah, you're right.
Gotta be cougars though.
The cougars, they choose trying to get theirs off. So you go ahead with the younger one, hence Jada and August. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the entanglement, that's when the entanglement occurs.
Yeah, the entanglement. Well,
so
proud cougar.
What did you say, proud cougar?
Proud cougar. Hey.
You saying the Lord is your shepherd and you shall not want, huh? You shall not want. But yeah, so I mean that's it. Sex is definitely prevalent in the church. It is. Someone asked me a question: Is sex the downfall that the the sex is a tool that the enemy is using to bring a downfall to the church. And I say no, it's really not. I believe
elaborate.
It's discipline. It's 100% discipline. That you have to get to a place where you discipline yourself. I always tell people all the time, if you want to stop smoking, stop buying cigarettes. If you want to stop gambling, stop going to the casino. If you want to stop doing whatever it is that you do, you have to make a decision. Everything you do in life is about the decisions. Some decisions are harder than others, but you have to discipline yourself once you could make a conscious decision that this is the road that I want to take and the route that I'm going to take. So it's definitely rough in the church. And bottom line is I really want to. I got so many notes here that I don't even think that we have enough time in regards to sex in the church. But can I say this? Can I have about 5 more minutes, and I'm gonna let y'all go and have y'all's great conversation, and y'all can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about.
All right, we do. Go ahead.
I believe that. Many individuals that are listening to me, they will probably claim that this conversation had absolutely nothing to do with them. And they'll say, listen here, I don't deal with a struggle far as the church is concerned, and they're probably thinking, you know what, this conversation is not for me. But you would be amazing. You would be shocked about the people who are ultra holy, ultra saved and spiritual, who are addicts. If they're not screwing, they're addicts to masturbation in the church.
I was getting ready to go with the masturbation. Go ahead.
All right, you have no idea how many people in the church who claim celibacy and sanctification, but they're addicts to internet pornography. All right, many therapists will tell you, watch this, that sexuality has absolutely nothing to do with the gratification of the flesh. Watch this, but it is an issue of power. It's an issue of dominance, and for some it's expression of anger. For others, it's revenge, and for others, for some, it's rage. And you got some people who saying I'm sexual because I've never gotten the necessary attention that I felt like I should have gotten. So and the truth of the matter is, and I think I'll probably close with this. It's a bad thing that when you're dealing with individuals, and it ties into love, because you got women that will get to the place that says, nobody has ever told me they love me dressed. So because they never told me they love me dressed, my sexuality has become my badge of honor.
Okay, low self-esteem. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a bad thing when your sexuality has become your commodity. And you don't even realize you have pimped and you have tricked yourself out. And the truth of the matter is, how a lot of people say, how else am I going to pay the rent? How else am I going to be able to drive the car that I drive? How else am I going to be able to have the wardrobe that I have? The truth of the matter is, the only reason why I have what I have is because of the things that I'm doing. And if you get with the right pastor, you will be right. And so this is why sex is so prevalent in the church, just as it is in the what we call the world.
Right.
It's real. But the truth, to be truthfully honest about it, the church is made up of hurting people. All the church is not perfect. You got people who come to the church like a hospital. And like when people get healed, they stop going to the hospital. They feel as if they no longer need the church. Or no longer need the hospital. But other than that, that's basically just a introduction of some of the things that I thought would be beneficial to this particular live in dealing with sexuality in the church. It's rough for men and women. It's hard out here for pimps and preachers. Yeah.
Right.
That's just
Paper prize.
It's hard. It's hard out here. But I will say, for my listening ears and those of you all who ascribe to Christianity, that God can keep you if you want to be kept.
Okay, what would you say to those who are judgmental? Because a lot of people won't go into the church, just as the one that was on that we were discussing, where she was very promiscuous and joined the church, and they're judging you. They're coming in, and that's why we had we also discussed why the churches are empty now. And my thoughts were because people aren't being real and transparent, and you hear the same thing. And just like you discussed earlier in the show, where you have you're going to hell for everything. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. Well, listen, if the world is beating me up, why do I need to get up and get dressed early Sunday morning for you to beat me up too?
Mm-hmm. Well, what I would say with that one is you can't go to church based off of religion. You gotta go to church because you have a relationship, and it doesn't matter who does what, when, where, or how. I believe a lot of people stop going to church and they don't understand because someone hurt them. They then take it out on God. So I would say that maybe, just maybe, you got a lot of individuals who are drawn to the wrong congregation. It's just like restaurants. You got Denny's, you have IHOP, you have.
We ain't naming them because they're not a sponsor.
Okay, all right. So,
but you got different restaurants. Go ahead.
You got high class, you got 5-star restaurants, and you got the restaurants that people don't even focus on. And it's the same with the church, and you got to go to what fits your appetite, and I think that a lot of people, go to caviar churches, but they don't have caviar taste, so you have to find a church that then fits you, that's going to minister to you and cause you to come out of what it is that you feel like that it's going to be the necessary ingredient or information you need in order to bring complete healing. I'm a pastor. I deal with hurting people. I'm a firm believer that real ministry is not about having clean hands all the time, but real ministry is about getting dirty, helping broken people. And this is what true ministry is all about. And you got people that are not seeing ministry like that on that level anymore, and so that's basically where we are with that. You
have a seminar coming up.
I do.
Talk to us about it.
I have a singles conference coming up entitled Worth the Wait, and it's going to deal with several years ago, I did a conference entitled God is Not Enough, I Need a Mate.
Okay.
And I dealt with the realness, and I got a lot of flack from the religious individuals. Matter of fact, people told their pastors told their people, don't go to that because God is enough. And they didn't understand what I was talking about.
They just based it off the title.
It was based off the title. But God told Adam in Genesis 2:2-18, he said, it's not good that man should be alone. So Adam is with God all alone in a garden. And he said, it's not good for you to be alone because I can't satisfy you in a place of desire. I can't satisfy you in that place. So anyway, I dealt with God is not enough. I need a mate. And people is prevalent. All you have to do is get a man or a woman. You won't show up to Bible study. You won't come to church. If you have a choice to go to the movies or church, you're gonna say, I'm going with my dude. I'm going with my girl, which shows you God wasn't enough in your life. But this particular conference that I'm doing is entitled Worth the Wait. It's going to be worth the wait. Don't settle for anything that's beneath you because it will all result in divorce. Don't settle. It'll be worth the wait. Let them come, let them go. And I'm dealing with precious jewels and precious diamonds that, your more expensive diamonds are in the back. They're not in the showcase. They're in the back in the jeweler's vault. That's where the expensive jewelry is, not the jewelry that's in the showcase. And so you have so many individuals who are thirsty to be selected and thirsty to be chosen. And what happens is, we get upset because we go on sale because we don't know our worth. And so, metaphorically speaking, here's an individual that comes into your life. He purchased you at 75% off, 25% off, and 50% off. And now, once you link up with him, now you want to tell him who you are. You must not know who I am. Here you are talking to me crazy, and you treat me like this. And he's saying, wait, hold on. I bought you on sale. In other words, you were kicking it with me when you know I had a girl. So you settle for less. You are the individual that put yourself in this place. And so, but it goes on and on. And so I will empower single women about being being whole and being successfully single, which means you are unique. Which means you are, I got all of these different things. And then it talks about, are you looking for, you know what I'm saying, a date or a playmate? See what I mean? Or soulmate, I'm sorry, a play date or a soulmate. And I'm dealing with all of these different things, you know. I'm dealing with the fact that a lot of time men cheat with the woman you used to be.
How do I become the other woman? First story. First story. Most men cheat with the woman you used to be. Hold on, stay right there. Barnes and Noble, Balboa Press, Amazon.com. How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman, written by Mel Ross. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm dealing with all of that. You know that if you have an opportunity to be with Samson, learn to be Delilah. And people don't understand that because they look at the negative side of who Delilah was and not look at how Delilah created a safe place for this man to lay his head and creating an environment of peace. You know, instead of you giving me a piece of your mind all day, every day, and you just want to keep it real, can we just have a moment of silence?
I heard that.
Can we just enjoy each other? You know, and if you're married, can we not, don't always have to talk about the bills? I know the bill, and it goes on and on and on. So, but anyway, we're dealing with.
And that's coming up in the fall, right?
That's coming up in September, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to ask you this question. Actually, I don't even know if it's a question. It might be a statement, but I want to touch on that. When you said you are not marrying someone broke, and that's how most women feel. We are not marrying someone broke. We don't want to be with somebody broke. I heard that, you know, I did. I was like, oh, I'm going back to that one. So, so when you say, and I commend you on that. I totally 100% commend you on that because we know what it is that we want. And some people, I feel some people won't say everything that they want while they're dating. So kind of like what you were saying, it's like, oh, okay, you got him on sale. It's like you put up with this to get the guy. And then he's thinking that you're this way. And then you flip the script and you ain't get him a copy of the script. You know what I mean? You done rewrote it like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is what you said. And there's the trickery again. Now, as far as like nobody wants to be with somebody broke, but I've noticed like in this generation now, it seems like the fellas are okay with being broke. Okay with being broke. And then you have the single guys that are in church and they're like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, all right. You in the church. That's nice, but you're broke. So to speak to that a little bit. Like you don't want to be with somebody broke. Why is it okay? Why are the guys okay with, and I know you can't speak for everyone, but why do they seem okay with allowing a female to take care of them? Because that was unheard of. Even if they were broke, they didn't let you know that they were broke. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, if we went and got a volume or we got something to drink here, you share, George. You didn't tell the chick that you ain't had no money. You got enough to get into the $1.50 movie for both of y'all. I got $5. We can get a drink. We can share it. And then we could go to the $1.50 movie.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What I have to say about that in regards to men and women being broke or the
choices. having choices and why you a gold digger. Because people look at you like a gold digger when you said that you was like, I don't want to be with somebody broke. They'll look at you like, oh, okay, he just want my money. And not realizing that that's in our mind. Mm-hmm. We don't want your money. We just don't want to be struggling. Go ahead.
Exactly. Let me deal with it from the male's perspective. In regards to the male's perspective, you got a lot of women in the church that will take care of a man just to have a man. And so because of it, this has become the mentality of you single brothers in the church. If you don't take care of me, I'm going to go to the next. That's why you have most men that live in the woman's house instead of the woman living in a man's house. All right. And so it's easy just to answer the question simply. It's easy. It's easy for me to say, you know what? I'm down on my luck. The best thing for me to do right now is I'm going to find a good woman in the church. She's going to take care of me because she's waiting on the Lord for a good man. So what I'll do is I'll wear a gold studded
not a good broke man.
Some of these women don't care. They don't care if you're blind, crippled, or crazy. And I'm telling you, in Indianapolis, they don't care if you. I'm looking like, are you serious? Like, wow. All right, they don't care if you're blind, crippled, or crazy. You know, they just want a man. Yeah, that's it. And so they're willing to do whatever it is that they have to do in order to have a man. Because they're tired of being lonely. They've been waiting on the Lord. They see all of their girlfriends having somebody to go out with. And so jealousy and envy kicks in. And so they say, hey, I can get a man too. And if I have to pay for him, so be it. I'm tired of being alone. So, and again, which ties into my topic. God is not enough. I need a mate. So they're willing to do whatever it takes. I promise you.
And then when they take care of that, man, it's going to be an ongoing thing. And then you're sitting there saying, I'm in a relationship and he does nothing and you expect him to change. But that's how you reel them in. I
just can't do that. I have my own. God, like I said, God has been kind to me. I have my own. Everything that I have, I work hard for. I work diligent for. You know, I mean, you were there, Melody, when I was growing up. You know, fashion shows and talent shows at the Rand High School. You know, we admired we admired your thirst. You always kept us doing something. Hey, y'all got a fashion show. Y'all want to be in it? Hey, I got a talent show coming up. And you know, so I wasn't raised under the notion to be broke. You know, I was raised to have some drive, to have some zeal, tenacity, and some integrity about myself. And so I don't want to link up with someone who's just coming because they think I'm a gold mine, you know, because that ain't going down like that. You know, I want to know what it is. Don't ask me what I'm bringing to the table. I am the table.
And see, now that's why we here. Because my thing is, they say, well, Mel, what are you bringing to the table? I said, me.
You said that's your appetite, huh?
Right, me. That's it. Like, everything should be right there. Because here again, and I'm sure I can speak for most women, and, you know, they're like, oh, okay, they're gold diggers. Here's the deal. Can I do it on my own? Absolutely. Do I want to do it on my own? No.
Right.
But I can do it, okay? And it's like, I'm looking for somebody, just as you said, let me see, what do you have? You could pay the bills, you could provide for me, because I'm looking for, as a female, a provider and a protector. If you can't provide, I'm just being honest from a female's perspective. If you can't provide for me, the lack of respect goes down. And that is the truth. If you are not a provider, it's like, okay, you're supposed to be the head of the household, head this mother up. And I'm just being honest. Head it up. Can I kick in? Absolutely. Do I have? Absolutely. But don't depend on my finances. It was one guy, never forget. He asked me, how much did I make an hour? I knew that relationship. He was like, well, how much do you make an hour? I knew that wasn't going nowhere. And I knew that he was interested in me. And I told him, treat my income like child support. Don't count on it. And I meant that. And I knew that relationship wasn't going to go anywhere because you are figuring in my income for your lifestyle. That wasn't okay. My thing is, if you are a man, be the provider, be the protector. I'm going to think that you can't protect me if you can't provide for me. I'm going to be honest with you. That's just me from a female's perspective. Again, I'm not a gold digger. I am a goal digger, Goal. You have to have goals. You have to have ambition. I need to see, can you fix this? If you can fix something, that's saving me money because let me be real. When I walk in, I'm looking out for me. I'm not looking out for you because I don't even know you. That's the dating process. I don't know you. I'm looking out for me. How can this benefit me? And I believe that that's how the male needs to be. How can she benefit me? And you look at the good parts of it and see, okay, well, here's the pros. Okay, I see where this is going. I'll have your back. Absolutely, I'll have your back. But I'm not coming in to have your front too. You need to lead. And it's something attractive about a leader. And that's why women are constantly going after pastors. And that is the truth. And they don't realize, it's like, are you really attracted to that pastor?
Or the position?
The position or the spirit that indwells within him. Some people are attracted to that spirit. And I'm one of those people, you be looking, then you wake up, you be like, that cat toe up. What was I thinking? You know what I mean? Like, he loved the Lord. Well, he ain't that cute. I was thinking he was fine. You know what I'm like?
Right.
What happened?
I was caught in the spirit.
Yes.
I was caught in the spirit. Where that spirit at again?
Yes.
Come on, spirit.
Right. I'm going to need you right now.
Help me. Right.
And some people for the position. And I believe, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, and then I'm going to let you go. Just as women, like you said, the position is men, or are men, let me be right, that was an intransitive verb, sorry people, are men attracted to the position that women hold?
No question about it. I think they are. They're attracted to their prowess. They're attracted to who they are in the community, which ties into a virtuous woman. You know, the virtuous woman, if you read Proverbs 31, that woman was successful. She went out, she had property, fields, and she did so much. What she did so much when she got connected, the man she got connected to got his notoriety because of who she was, not necessarily because of who he was. And he was a governor, but I don't even want to get all into that. But so my thing is this: you have so many women that come in thinking that they're going to get something from a pastor, but pastors are familiar and they're acclimated to the game. I'm telling you, you know, not only are we men, but God uses us as our discernment kicks in. You know, my thing is, and I say I don't want a broke woman. I want a woman who is already ready. She is prepared to be a wife and understand whatever it is that I have to do, I am willing to do, period. It's not about, this is my problem when it comes to women. And I gotta be 100%. Now I got 5 sisters, you know that. I have a mother, I have daughters, you know, and I had a wife. This is my thing with women. When you're dealing with relationships and you're dealing with marriage, they want to know, how can you provide for me? Why can't it be, how are we going to make this happen for each other? That's my thing. How are we going to make this happen for each other? Period.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say to that. I'll speak to that. In the back of our mind, we already got that. But we want to hear what you have to say, because we don't want the being bamboozled, the razzle dazzle, like old dude whose stuff didn't work. You know what I mean? So we ask a lot of questions because we're thinkers, and you already know what they say. You get our mind, the body will follow.
Right.
So we're all about the mind, emotions. And it's like, okay, I'll say this to you. And I'm like, okay, so how are you going to provide? Now you already see, you looking at that virtuous woman and you see she doing her thing. And it's like, okay, well, I know that she can handle it on her own, But here's the thing. She don't want to go. She handling her situation on her own. She don't want to add another situation to her situation to have to provide for. Can she step up to the plate if you need help and be that helpmate? Absolutely. Because and I'm going to be honest with you, a virtuous woman or a woman about hers, a real woman, let me just say that, is not going to let her dude fall. Because let me tell whoever that you're connected to, especially when you got it going on, whoever you're connected to, you want them to win. Because if they're losing, that makes her feel as though that she's losing. And we take on that responsibility, believe it or not. Because I ain't lied to one guy. Listen, I'm like, you need to do this. I knew that the women come to the church because he was single. Me, because I'm like, okay, let's build this congregation. No, we already know. Listen, let it work for you. Don't tell nobody about me. And I'm not looking for me, like hide nothing from me. I'm trying to help you out. Because once you say, boom, this is who it is, you got to grow it first. And you know how I roll. Listen, you know how I'm trying to let us win. Listen, I know they like you. When you have to go to a meeting, just like me, when I go to meetings, I go alone because I let it, and no, I'm not no prostitute, but I know that if this person is interested in me and this is why they booked me and they go give me 3 G's just for a gig, I'm going by myself. I'll smile. How are you? Yes, we're in a public place. We'll sip some tea. We'll have whatever we have. And it's clean because it's up to that individual to actually say yay or nay. And for that particular pastor, I'm like, oh man, if you do this, you need to work out. You need to get this. And he didn't really need to work out, but let me dress you. I know what they like. I'm trying to help him out. Keep me quiet so that you can do what it is that you need to do and you need to move and get where you're trying to be. Because let's be real, women look at men and they be wanting them, and you can actually go further depending on the position that female holds. And if I know that she like you, boom, just like my ex-husband. No lie, I already knew the chick liked him. I said, listen, y'all, C Staples, original C Staples. I told him, listen, he know I like the fried mushrooms. That girl like him. She always hook him up. Listen, you go in there. I ain't got no problem. Give me my fried mushrooms. We both can benefit off this thing. And not that I'm pimping them, but hey, I'm doing me. You gotta work things out and make it work for you. So when we are actually, in our mind, we already done thought about it. We see. And then, once we actually come out publicly, boom, okay, this is where we are. There you go.
Well, see, my thing is when I'm looking for a mate, I want to come over to your house unannounced.
And you can do that because nobody knows.
Watch this. The only reason why I say this is because I want to see how you keep your house clean. Not that I want to roll up on you, but I want to see, are you a clean woman? Are you a nasty woman?
What?
Because the appearance is one thing, but how you keep that house says a whole lot about her.
Don't it?
I'm talking about panties on the floor and dishes in the sink. The dishes need a bath. I mean, you're like, okay, I saw everything I needed to see. I think it's good. I think it's good that when you're dealing with relations, I mean, this conversation could go on till eternity. Because there's so much to be said in regards to relations and connectivity. Other than that, sex in the church is going to be a forever. Situation, marriage, divorce, it'll never stop. I want to say, listen to you all, Mel and Shop Talk. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a guest on your show. I'm proud of what it is you got going on. I mean, we like family. I love your mom. She's a real deal. I ain't gonna say every time she see me what she used to call me. The old school nickname and all that type of stuff. But I love y'all. I love what it is that you have going on. definitely keep what you got going on.
Well, thank you very much. We celebrated 10 years June 2nd.
Wow.
Hey.
Now, Gibson, where's that round of applause
Stop.
you
Let me.
of applause you played?
Yeah, you know what? I need the round of applause. Look, I'm late to the game, but I got it.
Good deal. So, whenever y'all have something that you want to talk about, I am definitely here. You call me anytime. That
I know. I appreciate you coming on last minute. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dr. Jonathan Mason, Pastor Mason he is the pastor of Great Works Worship Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. How can they contact you?
They can contact me via Facebook. I am on YouTube as well.
On YouTube under what?
City, Greater Works Worship Center.
Okay.
Also, Jonathan Mason, as well as my name on Facebook, Jonathan Mason, or Dr. Jonathan Mason Ministries on Facebook. Or if you're ever in the city, come and hang out with us. 4091 Millersville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana.
And what's your
email
email
address?
address?
Jonathan D. Mason, and I approve this message.
Hey! What's your email address?
My email address is chosen, the number 2, and the word be real at Yahoo. CHOSEN at Yahoo, the number 2, BEREAL at yahoo.com. Holla at your boy anytime.
All righty. Okay, thank you very much for coming on. Nick, how you like that?
Huh?
How do you like that?
I loved it.
Did you?
I loved it. Yes. Very informative, and that's something that needs to be talked about, something we need to know. I mean, yeah, because I grew up around some things in the church concerning sex and scandals, and so that's just something that we needed to learn and talk about.
Wow. Can I borrow your eyes? Can I borrow your eyes?
Who's hers?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sure.
I thought you left off. I'm like, well, where'd he go?
They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. But other than that, are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. I thought you left off because look, I let you go. We sitting here getting ready to shop talk.
Oh, okay. well, go ahead and shop talk, and God bless you is my prayer. Lord have mercy. I'm about to be looking at the back of my eyelids because this soul is tired. Are you hearing me? So I did this for you, girl.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. So he went on off. He can see. Oh, he got good vision to see your eyes. We love your eyes. We love your.
I'm sitting here looking at the camera like, why do I keep looking cross-eyed?
Cannot see it at all. We're going to hurry up and we're going to go ahead because we got 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes left. I was trying to wait for Roogle to come back so he could do his segment and we could go ahead. Look, it's hot, huh?
Child, yes.
Oh, man. I appreciate you listening in. My co-host, we getting ready to start your part in a few seconds, but we're going to do the medical moments, the Q-tips all at the same time. I did a Be Inspired yesterday, and the Be Inspired that I did yesterday was for the COVID-19, and we're just going to merge it all together, okay? I took the COVID-19 test again, and with that, it was an easy process. They put the Q-tip up. Actually, what they're doing now, they put the Q-tip up one nostril for 10 seconds, and then they put it up the other nostril for 10 seconds. I said, if they don't find coronavirus, they're going to find something as long as they was up there. Did you happen to view it? Did you happen?
I saw some of it. I saw when you were in the line.
It moved really, really fast, and those are your drive-up coronaviruses.
Did they go all the way up to the brain like they did the first time?
Listen, they did, but they did it for 10 seconds. And it's like, oh, wait. And a lot of people are afraid. I saw some of the comments that you guys had. You were afraid to go and get it. Some people feel as though that they don't want to know because there's things that they have to do. But my suggestion to you is don't be afraid. It's better to know your status because you don't want to unintentionally infect other people. So go ahead and do it. It takes, 20 seconds. It takes 20 seconds for the actual test. The process was very easy and simple.
I don't like nothing up my nose.
Listen, I understand that. I don't like it either, but that's something that I have to do because I want to see where I am, even though I get it, get tested often because where I'm at is a hot spot.
My sister-in-law, the job that she just got, they actually ordered, because she worked for like a farm, United Healthcare, I think, pharmacy. In fact, she got a good job now.
Good for her.
And everything. But they ordered tests and they send them to their homes and they do their own. They swab their own nose. I was like, now see, I'll do that.
Yeah, would you do it the right? I can't do it myself. That's like draw your own blood. I don't want to do it, and I want to do it properly. There was one guy who actually was testing objects, and then it came back positive, and they were like, oh, that's not true. But here's the problem. Just like they're actually saying, I read up where on metal it lasts up to 12 hours. On clothes, they said 4 hours. But that's neither here nor there because they don't know. They just don't know. We don't know. So we're in this thing together, and wear your mask. I say wear your mask. Please, please, please protect others. If you don't want to protect yourself and you want to go out without a mask, stay home or be in your car. But at least protect others. It's a respect thing. I would think just respect for your neighbors. All right, Nick, what's going on with the horoscopes?
All right, the horoscopes for the week of July 20th. Cancer, you'll do well to be incredibly intentional as you lock in your vision and take steps to reflect your true emotions. This will help from butting heads with your partner. Leo, spend time meditating on your deep-rooted desires and emotions, figuring out what brings you a feeling of centeredness and how you can infuse your daily life with those elements. Virgo.
Yay!
Exactly. Feeling you're a part of your greater community and that you're giving back could feel extra important to you this week in your networking, as in working with colleagues on a charitable professional project that sends a meaningful message. See, I told you, and what you got going on tomorrow? Boom. Told you. That fits you real good.
Hey, women in business. Yes. Don't let me forget. Go ahead. After Virgo, what do we have?
All right. Libra, it might be worth striking out against your MO and speaking up in order to be true to yourself. You'll do well to get clear on exactly what you want to say before delivering your message, as miscommunications are especially possible now. Scorpio, you'll have another opportunity to get clear and set intentions related to learning and personal growth through eye-opening experiences. Being open to a shifting tide and following your heart first and foremost serves you well. Sagittarius, spending time meditating on what you want now allows you to gain clarity around your tightest bonds, giving you even more focus as you navigate the roads ahead. Capricorn, you've been on a journey figuring out what you want to give and receive from your closest one-on-one relationships. If reciprocity hasn't been a factor in a long-term love relationship or friendship, it's time to get in balance or move on.
Okay.
Aquarius, you might be inspired to turn over a new leaf related to your diet, fitness, or mind-body wellness. So if you've already gotten the ball rolling, now's the time to get even more clear and precise. Pisces, hey.
Okay.
If you've been wanting your daily schedule to be more balanced because you've been spread too thin, you'll have a sweet opportunity to take productive steps. Even if your ideal scenario feels out of reach, there's merit to setting bold intentions and taking baby steps. Aries, consider setting an intention related to matters close to your heart, home, and family. Whether you've been wanting to find more time to dedicate to connecting with loved ones or to redecorate your home office, coming up with a step-by-step plan can be a productive first step to seeing your vision become a reality. Taurus, Though you tend to prefer the known and the routine to the unusual, allowing yourself to go with the flow and find the silver lining in whatever ends up catching you off guard. It could be more positive than you realize intentionally. Gemini, there's much to be learned from your deepest intuitive thoughts, which could be the fuel you need to get rolling on an exciting new game plan for amplifying your cash flow. Get your money, Gemini, get your money. And those are the horoscopes for the week of July 20th. Boom.
All right. We did it. Roogle had to step away. And look, he stepped away for a minute, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
You all right, Roogle? There's a movie that's coming out. Let me do this the right way, lovely people. Ruggle's not here, but there's a movie that Nia Long has out. Her Epps.
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps.
Yeah, Fatal Affair.
Fatal Affair. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been seeing people on Facebook talk about it. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm going to catch it. I'm definitely going to catch it because I love both of them. I love Omar Epps. I love Nia Long.
They said, I see where some reviews actually said that it was more like it should be on Lifetime. They said that they was like, oh, it should be on Lifetime. But I like Lifetime, so I don't feel bad about it. Look, I'm like,
right.
I don't feel bad about that one. I'm like, okay, I can see where that could happen at.
I'm definitely going to catch it this weekend. Definitely.
Are you?
Yes.
We're going to watch it. We're going to see what's going on.
Okay, we lost Roogle.
That's okay. I did that.
Okay.
Look, remember, we live. Look, remember, we live. I did that. The host did that. Got control. Look, got control of the boards, doing what we do. All right, lovely people, that is my time. How did you like, before I go there, how did you like Dr. Mason as far as like him being transparent?
He is as real as they get. I like that. I like that. He's straightforward, real, holds no punches. Well, he had to be somewhat reserved because of the congregation listening on certain subjects.
But yeah, sometimes you get real comfortable on this show and you be like, oh, we'll talk about that after.
Right. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I like that. And we should definitely have him on again, with other subjects coming up related to the church.
All right. He did it though. He did that. I truly appreciated him. Again, today's guest on Shop Talk with Mel was Pastor Jonathan Mason out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And he is the pastor of Great Works Worship Center. He kept it 100. If you would like to reach out, you have questions, if you want to book him, you can do so. His email address is, chosen to be real
at
yahoo.com. Thank you. I'm like, wait a minute. Chosen to be real. And that's the number 2 at yahoo.com. Just let them know, you heard him on Shop Talk with Mel. And then, follow up from there. All right.
Right.
We know what it is. Thank you guys for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Down below in the description, if you would like to donate to the channel, you can do so. That information is down low. Like your girl on all socials at Shop Talk with Mel on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all the Shop Talk with Mel. And you can also
what's going on again tomorrow?
Wait a minute, 1 second. And you can also, thank you for the reminder. You can also, let me see, I did Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Shop Talk with Mel. And also, if you have any questions for the Shop Talk question of the week, go ahead. You can inbox that to me. You can email that to me at shoptalkwithmel at yahoo.com. Just shoot me those inboxes. Everything is confidential. If you don't want to be known who you are, trust and believe your girl will stand in your stead. I got you. And we will talk about it. We'll talk about it and we'll see what the people think. How about that one? Also, the on all the podcasts, Let's Shop Talk. You can listen to your girl, Nick the Voice, my co-host, and then Roogle the Movie guy who had to leave. Y'all know what we do every single week. Women in Business. I will be in Youngstown, Ohio tomorrow. Women in Business. And I think it's from 11 to 4. I'm so sorry. I don't even have that flyer like right there with me. Shout out to Lori Kellum, whose vision it was to actually go ahead and have Women in Business doing this. And it'll be like a fashion show. It's just a bunch of women who are in business. Your girl will be emceeing, hosting, doing what it is, kind of keeping things in order, walking around. I'll definitely go live. You going? You coming?
I'm gonna try to make it, but I wish I had known ahead of time because I can have my little travel business cards to hand out. Boom.
Yeah, just come on up because it's open to the public. It's open to the public. Come on up, and you be in my spot. Like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Do what we do.
Hey.
Okay? The perks.
It's a date.
It's a date, so we'll have fun. Girl power. If you have a business, you are a female, please reach out to Lori Kellum Franklin, or you can contact me and I'll lead you to the right direction so that maybe you could come on next year when she does it. She did it last year. I did it last year as well with her. So I was honored and I appreciate you, lovely people. Tico Trent, he has an album coming out August the 4th. 20 More Summers is the name of the album that's coming out. I hosted that and that was on Thursday. You guys can check that out. Listen to him. Oh man, let me tell you something. That's a bad CD. That album is off the hook. So that is it, lovely people. Go ahead and unmute yours, Nick. This is it. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop. I'm telling you, man. One day, we are definitely going to get it together. I love you guys for listening. Always trying to save one life at a time and change somebody's life for the better. Always on Shop Talk.